I want to start by saying something that might sound strange coming from someone standing here to talk about prayer. I'm tired too, and I know you are. I know that some of you showed up today carrying a weight that nobody else can see, the kind of exhaustion that sleep doesn't fix. You've been holding things together for so long that you've forgotten what it feels like to let go, to be held instead of holding. This isn't a lecture. I'm not here to teach you how to pray better or give you another list of things you should be doing. Honestly, I think you've had enough of should. What I want to offer you today is permission. Permission to stop performing. Permission to bring the messy, raw, exhausted parts of yourself into the conversation with God. Not cleaned up, not polished, just you. There's an old idea that prayer is about getting the words right, about showing up with the perfect heart in the perfect posture at the perfect time. And I think that idea has wounded a lot of us. It's turned something that was meant to be a homecoming into another place where we feel like we're falling short. So here's what we're going to explore together. What if your exhaustion isn't a sign that you're failing at prayer? What if it's actually your soul crying out for the very thing prayer is supposed to give you: connection, presence, the experience of being held by something greater than yourself? What if the tears you've been holding back are themselves a kind of prayer? What if showing up, even when you're running on fumes, is exactly enough? I don't want to be strong anymore. I want to be held. And I suspect some of you feel the same way. So let's go there together. Let's talk about what it might look like to stop performing and start being present, to let prayer become what it was always meant to be: not a measure of your strength, but a sanctuary where you can finally rest. I want you to hear something, and I want you to hear it all the way through. This is for you, the woman who shows up to pray even when she's running on fumes, the one who whispers her prayers from bed because she's too tired to stand, whose tears have become her prayer book. You're here, you came, and that matters more than you know. This isn't about performing. It's not about measuring your strength or proving anything to anyone, including yourself. This is a sanctuary, a place where you can finally stop holding everything together and let yourself be held instead. You don't have to be strong right now. You just have to be here. Can we be honest for a moment? Maybe prayer has started to feel like one more thing on your list that you're not doing well enough. You still believe deeply, but there's this gap between what you know in your heart and what your daily life actually looks like. You show up, but you're running on spiritual fumes. The words come out, but your heart feels hollow, like something got disconnected somewhere along the way. You used to love prayer. Now it feels like a duty you're failing at. And underneath it all, there's this ache, like you've turned to God 1,000 times and you wonder if He's still listening. I want you to hear this. You're not broken. You're overextended. There's a difference. Spiritually devoted, but emotionally depleted. That's not a contradiction. That's where so many of us live. What if I told you that the very exhaustion you feel isn't evidence that you're doing something wrong? What if it's actually your soul crying out for something it desperately needs? Ancient wisdom teaches us that prayer was never meant to be about getting it right. It's called the sacred work of the heart, a process of connection, of rising, of bonding with your source. It's your soul's honest conversation with the one who made you. Even King David, who wrote some of the most beautiful prayers ever recorded, cried out in moments of anguish and distance and despair. His vulnerability wasn't a barrier to prayer, it was the prayer itself. When you feel like you're drowning, when the troubles of life feel like water rising up to your neck, that's not disqualification, that's invitation. Prayer is a journey inward and upward. It asks us to align our inner world with the divine presence, not to perform, but to connect. It's a ladder that carries us from where we are in our physical, exhausted, scattered awareness up toward something deeper, something truer. The inner work is about aligning your mind, your heart, and your soul. It's about quieting the noise inside, all the criticism, the endless lists, the voices telling you you're not enough, so you can actually feel connected again. This is about intention, not perfection. intention. It's the difference between just reciting words and actually having a relationship. And at the center of it all is this exchange. You bring your human vulnerability, and God meets you with his infinite holding presence. The Book of Psalms is the original prayer book of the heart. It gives us a blueprint for honest, unfiltered conversation with God. And here's what's remarkable: it contains everything: the cry of anguish, my God, why have you forsaken me? The whisper of trust, even when I walk in the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. The song of gratitude, the yearning for presence. As a deer yearns for streams of water, so my soul yearns for you. All of it. Every messy, complicated emotion you've ever felt. The Psalms hold it. And here's what I want you to take in: your messy emotions are not obstacles to prayer, they are the holy raw material of connection. David cried. Rachel wept. You can too. Prayer isn't just something that happens in your head, it's embodied. Your whole being is invited into this practice. The Psalms describe physical postures that reflect what's happening inside, positions that help your soul say what words sometimes can't. There's complete surrender, lying fully on the ground, letting go of everything. There's humility, bowing your head, acknowledging something greater than yourself. And there's receiving, kneeling with open hands, grounding your spirit so you can actually take in what God wants to give you. These aren't just physical acts, they're ways of quieting the ego, bypassing the analytical mind that never stops judging, and letting your soul speak from a place of deep openness. Your body knows how to pray even when your mind is too tired to find the words. What happens when your own spiritual energy is too depleted to connect? When you've given everything and there's nothing left? There's ancient wisdom for this too. We can align ourselves with souls who have refined their own inner world, righteous ones whose entire being became a channel for divine presence. Even after they've passed from this world, their presence can help steady a soul that feels too shaky to stand alone. This isn't about praying to them, it's about praying with them, visiting their resting places, speaking their names in prayer. It's a way of borrowing their strength to carry your prayer when you can't carry it yourself. It's an acknowledgement that you have limits. And that's not weakness, that's wisdom. Your soul's yearning to be held isn't fantasy. It's your deep knowing that there is still someone who can hold you when you cannot hold yourself. This path of prayer invites a gentle but profound inner transformation. It's a practice of presence and quieting, learning to be still, to listen beneath the noise of your mind. It's about softening your heart, allowing vulnerability and tears and even anger to be present without judgment. It's aligning your intention, consciously directing your thoughts and feelings toward connection. It's offering your brokenness as a vessel for divine light, because sometimes faith isn't fire, sometimes it's just showing up. It's realigning with your soul's deepest truth, beyond all the roles and expectations. And it's awakening your yearning, tending to that innate desire your soul has for closeness with its source. This isn't about becoming someone new, it's about returning to who you've always been. Here are some simple, heartfelt ways to weave this sacred work into your life. Before you begin to pray, take 3 slow breaths. Place a hand on your heart. Whisper, "Here I am." Just acknowledge where you are, without judgment. Choose one line, one verse that speaks to you today. Carry it with you. Let it be your anchor in the chaos, your one-line prayer when you can't find more. Find a quiet moment to speak to God in your own words. No script. Share your heart the way you would with someone who loves you completely. After you pray, don't rush away. Sit in silence for just 60 seconds. Notice if something has shifted. Let the prayer settle in your body. And throughout your day, notice moments of gratitude or awe, a child's laugh, a beautiful sky, and whisper, "Thank you." That too is prayer. Prayer, in its deepest sense, means to judge oneself, but more accurately, It's a process of self evaluation and alignment with the divine. It's your soul's honest conversation. There's a state of consciousness we long for called cleaving or bonding, feeling intimately connected to God, that sacred bond we crave. Intention is the conscious act of directing your heart and mind, prayer coming from the intention of the heart, and faith, or more accurately, trust and faithfulness, is your soul's steady confidence even when everything feels uncertain. These aren't just theological concepts, they're the language of your soul. And the mystical tradition teaches that prayer allows your soul to ascend through spiritual realms, that sincere prayer can transform harsh decrees into blessings, that prayer opens channels for divine abundance to flow into the world. When you surrender your ego, you become a clear vessel. This is what prayer makes possible. The path of deep prayer isn't always smooth, and these challenges you face, they're not signs of failure, they're invitations to go deeper. There's the wandering mind, distraction, and inner noise. The tradition acknowledges how hard it is to unify all our faculties, to pray with our whole being. There's emotional numbness, feeling blocked, hollow, unable to access deep emotion. This is often a sign of spiritual exhaustion or your soul protecting itself from overwhelm. There's spiritual fatigue, showing up in faith while feeling emotionally and spiritually depleted. That feeling of, I believe, but I'm so tired. And there's the voice of ego and performance telling you that you must be good enough to pray, that you're too messy, too much. These obstacles are real, but they're not the end of the story. They're the beginning of a deeper one. Take a quiet moment with these reflections. There are no right answers, only your honest truth. If you could say one thing to God without any fear of judgment, what would it be? What messy emotion have you been hiding from your prayer? What would it feel like to finally bring it into the conversation? Which posture of the soul, surrender, humility, or receiving, does your heart most need right now? Who is the righteous soul in your life, living or not, whose presence helps you feel held? And what is the one line of prayer your soul is whispering today? Just sit with these. You don't have to answer them all. Just let them open something in you. Prayer is the art of weaving the fragmented pieces of our lives, our joy, our grief, our questions, our silence, into a sacred tapestry of connection with the divine. Here's what I want you to carry with you. Your pain is not a barrier, it is the portal. Your exhaustion is not a failure, it is a call to receive. Your voice, in its rawest form, is the most holy prayer you can offer. This isn't about becoming someone new, it's about coming home to who you've always been.
The story of Hannah gives us the ultimate model for the prayer of the heart. She was barren and provoked, her heart heavy with unspoken grief. She stood before God in the tabernacle and spoke in her heart. Only her lips moved, but her voice was not heard. She poured out her soul without scripted words. And the high priest, he saw her and assumed she was drunk. He judged her authentic expression, mistook her raw vulnerability for something shameful. But she stood her ground and said, I have poured out my soul before God, and her prayer was answered. You have sacred permission to be real with God. Like Hannah, weeping without words, your raw, silent, weeping prayer is holy. It has the power to change worlds.
Your showing up, even in exhaustion, is prayer. God is not disappointed in your fatigue, He delights in your honest heart. You don't need more faith. You need to know it is safe to be held. May your mouth speak praise, and may all that you are bless His holy name forever and ever. The greatest praise you can offer is to bring your whole self, your whole story, before Him. And if you're wondering where to start, if you need words when you can't find your own, pick me up, Hashem. Volumes 1 through 11, is waiting for you. Start praying today. Borrow my words. Pray straight from the source until you find yours. Let these prayers carry you until your own voice returns.